All right, this next tune is called Left of the Dial by the Replacements, a Paul Westerberg tune. And normally on the record, this is done in open A. But I'm going to do it in open G because I don't want to break any strings, and open A is kind of tough on an acoustic guitar, really on any guitar. So if you want to, just take this tuning we have now and move every note up a whole step and you'll be able to play with the record. But the tuning is, before we get going, is from the low string, it's D instead of E. So you got to tune your E string down to a D note. The fifth string is G, so you got to tune your A string down to G. Your D string stays the same. Your third string stays the same. Your second string stays the same. And your high string, normally E, goes down to D. So we have from low to high, D, G, D, G, B, D. Okay? Now if you wanted to take that same tuning, just tune all these notes up one whole step and you've got open A, and that's what Mr. Westerberg was using on the Tim record. Alright, so this has got a lot of really cool voicings. If it's our first time using an open tuning, it's going to give us some great insight on how it works and what some chords are we can grab. And this is also a great tuning for getting some more ambient and strange voicings out of some really simple shapes. So I think you're going to enjoy this one quite a bit. Alright, without much further ado, let's run through it and then we'll break it down. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Read about your band in some local page. Didn't mention my name. Didn't mention my name. Sweet Georgia breezes, safe, cool and warm. I headed up north. You headed up north. On and on and on and on. What side are you on? On and on and on and on. What side are you on? Wear a voice that's laughing on the radio once. Didn't listen too long, 'cause you led me along. Passing through and it's late. Station started to fade. Picked another one up in the very next state. On and on and on and on. What side are you on? On and on and on and on. not LA. Didn't mention your name. Didn't mention your name. And if I don't see you, well, I'll know why. I'll try to find you. Left of the dial. 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 Okay, let's break this down. And just a reminder, we are in open G. Our tuning is on the guitar. Originally, this tune is in open A, and we'll talk about that, but let's talk about this open G tuning first. And what I've done is I've lowered my E string to a D note. Then I've lowered my A string to a G note, or my fifth string. My D string stays the same. My G string stays the same. My B string stays the same. And my high E goes down to a D. So when I strum, I have this nice open G chord. Now, if you wanted to play with the record, you would take this tuning and you would move every note, you'd tune it up one whole step. And let's take a look at this intro. So I've got this theme here. Is I'm putting my ring and my pinky down, my ring on the 7th fret G string or 3rd string, and my pinky on the 8th fret B string. And I'm doing all downstrokes and I'm keeping it pretty open. I'm not muting it all. And I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm trying to accent beat 1 and 2 and end of 2 and beat 4. So 1, end of 2 and 4. So my pinky starts off on the 8th fret, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. When I get to beat 4, I'm going to move it to the 7th fret. Then I'm going to take it off, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then put it back down on the 7th fret on beat 4 of that second measure. So it's a 2-measure phrase, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 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 Right, so we start off with that intro and we do that phrase twice, just like I did. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 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 Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my index down on this 5th fret on the 5th string. So this gives me like a C sus2 chord, a type of C chord. And I'm going to do that exact same theme just for 2 measures. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So nothing changes but my index finger. And again, I'm only strumming from the 5th string. I don't want to strum this low string close to my chin. That's going to muddy up the sound quite a bit. Okay, so I do that. Then I'm back to my main theme for 4 measures. Then I'm going to go back to my C sus2 for 2 measures. Then I have this line. Very cool. That's a real cool chord. And what we've got going on there is I'm doing this single note line off my low string, 6th string. I'm going to go open, 2nd fret, 4th fret, then on string 5, 0, 2, then open, or open, 2, open. Right, so that single note phrase is, yeah. Then I'm going to grab like a D chord, but with no middle finger, so just my index and my ring finger, letting all the strings ring out, and I want to strum everything. And again, no middle finger on the high string, I want that open. So just these 2 fingers, okay? So that's my entire intro there. So that's a pretty cool part. Now, when we get into our verse, we're doing just these kind of 2 nice open chords. We're going between a G and an E minor 9, or really a G5. And what I'm doing is I'm not always doing the exact same part. I can really just strum down, down, up, down, right? And what I'm doing is in my left hand, I'm grabbing the 7th fret on the G string or the 3rd string, and my middle finger's grabbing the 8th fret on string 2. Right, so I just have these 2 fingers down. Or you could grab it like this, kind of like a D chord if you prefer. Okay? And my strum pattern again is just down, down, up, down. If I want to get a little more fancy, I'll go down, down, up, and then an upstroke on string 2, and then a downstroke on string 3. Down, down, up. Down, down, up. 2, 3. Down, down, up. 2, 3. Okay, so that's my G chord. And now I'm going to play this E minor 9. And the way that I'm grabbing this is I'm putting my index finger on the 7th fret on the 2nd string, and then I'm going to put my ring finger on the 9th fret on string 5, and then my pinky right beneath it on the 4th string, also on fret 9. So I want to leave this G string open, and this high string. And again, I'm only strumming from string 5. Now, a lot of these chords aren't that conducive to having this low string. That's why Keith Richards takes it off. And by the way, this tuning is really most popularized by Keith as well, right? So that's probably where he got it from. I don't know. So I'm just going to do the same thing on this chord, strumming wise. Down, down, up, down. Or I can get fancy, down, down, up. And pluck those same 2 individual strings, 2 and 3. Down, down, up, 2, 3. Right, so I'm just going between those 2 shapes there, the G shape and that E minor 9. Right, so I'm just repeating that twice. Now I've got to change to this new chord, and I have a C add 9, so it's pretty easy to grab. What I'm doing is I'm barring here at the 5th fret with my index finger across strings 5, 4, and 3. Again, I'm staying off that low string, and I'm putting my ring finger on the 7th fret on the G string. So I have this kind of cool, what do I want to say? This cool part of the harmony, or this addition to the harmony, that the 9th. Tension is what I want to say. So I've got the C add 9, and then I'm going to go to this power chord here, which is just an E5 power chord in this key. Normally in standard tuning it'd be an F sharp, right? Right? Okay, so we're just going between those 2 chords, and I'm keeping that same accent. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 4. 1 and 4. 1 and 4. 1 right? So I just want to play that 1 and of 2 a little bit harder, and I'm palm muting right there. So I want to get rid of the openness. Okay, so if I put that whole verse together, C add 9, E power chord, then do that again. Then I'm going to repeat everything I just did. So that's how you do your verse. Now when I get to that first chorus, if I make an E chord, like I normally do down here at the 2nd fret, and I scoot it up so that my middle finger and my ring finger on the 5th fret, that's the shape I want to play out of. And that's a C major 7. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pinky in front of my index finger, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and on beats 2 and 4, right? And then take it off. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's what I'm going to do for this C major 7 feel. And again, I'm palm muting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now I'm going to do this lick. Rather. And what I'm doing is I'm playing my open strings pretty much 5 and 4, but my ring finger is here on the 4th fret on the G string. So I'm going to strum that, then 2nd fret on the G string, and then open. Right, so I have 4, 2, 0, 0. Now, for the second half of that, I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. I'm going to go 4, 2, 0, D shape with no middle finger. Right, so I have. So if I put that whole chorus, that first chorus together, I have. And then I repeat. Okay, so that's what we're doing for that first chorus. Now, the second chorus comes around and we're doing the same thing we did in that first half, but when the second half comes around, we're doing the same C major 7. And then we're grabbing this interlude into the guitar solo, we're grabbing the 3rd fret, power chord, index on the low string 3rd fret, ring finger on the 5th fret, and this is going to be an F5 power chord in this tuning. And then we're grabbing this D5 power chord, and all I'm doing is putting my index finger on the 2nd fret on the 5th string and playing it with the open low string, or the 6th string, right? So it sounds a lot more complicated than it is, but the second half of the second chorus sounds like this. And then here's the second half. Power chord, F5, E5. Now I'm just going to do the guitar solo section, right, the rhythm anyway, and all we're doing is just power chords, 1 off the 2nd fret on the E string, index on 2, ring on 4, 3, move it up a half step, index on 5, then 7, right. And so all we're doing is we're just moving from E to F, power chord, G5, A5, and you can do that for how many times you want to. I just went through it twice. Then after the guitar solo, we're just going back to that intro feel from the G to the C and back to the G. Okay? And then we're back to our verse feel, which we already know how to do, and then the outro is pretty easy. Okay, now let's take a look at that intro, and all we're going to do is we're going to hold on to this open G chord. Right, we're going to strum that once and let it ring out for 2 beats. If I don't find you, I'll know why. Right? And just letting that ring out, and then we're going to go to this shape. And what it is like a C shape, but I'm moving it up a whole step and getting rid of my middle finger. So my ring is on the 5th fret on the A string or string 5. And my index is on the 3rd fret on string 2. And I'm letting everything ring out and strumming from the 5th string. And I'm going to let that keep ringing for 6 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay? Now I'm going to have 2 beats of silence, and I'm going to do this lick. And what I'm doing is I'm grabbing the 3rd fret on string 2 and playing all 3 strings closest to my feet. Then 5th fret, same thing, and then open. Now I'm going to play this shape, and all it is leaving my index finger on that 3rd fret on the 2nd string and putting my ring finger on the 5th fret on the low string and going bass down. So I have 1, 2, right? 1, 2, and I'm going to change into that C sus2, and all I'm doing is just lowering my ring finger back down to where it's on the A string again, and I'm just putting that lick between the 2 chords. So I'm just going between those 2 chords with the lick in between them for as long as I want. And I can build it up by strumming in between more. So I could go 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. As much as you want there. Now when I was performing it, I might have messed up and gone 3, 5, 3 and then done the chords, but it should be 3, 5, 0 on the B string. I can't remember what I did, but either way it would still work pretty good. Alright, so very cool tune. That's all we got for this one. Hope you enjoy it, and maybe this is your first tune playing in an open tuning, and it's a great one to have around. A very, very nice tune by Mr. Westerberg. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another lesson on just open G tuning and kind of being able to figure out some chords and stuff in that tuning. All right, so stick around for that one. All right, everybody, thanks so much. Hope you enjoy this one.